I got an email literally today
Huh?
from one of our clients. They're like, did the site have an outage this weekend? I was like, uh-oh. That's my first reaction, right? Like, did something not tell us that we had an outage?
Huh?
So I look at the tools like, all right, well, no, I don't see anything. And then I went to the analytics. I'm like, well, that's not showing me anything. He's like, no, our analytics is showing a dip. I'm like, well, I'm looking at everything. It's actually the top 2 days in the past like three months. I was like, what analytics are you using? It's like Hotjar. It's like, okay. It's like, well, I don't have that. I don't have your Hotjar, so I don't see it. It's like, well, maybe there's an issue there. I was like, oh yeah, if everything else, and that's the idea of like having multiple monitoring, like if everything else is saying it's okay, and one thing is saying something went out, then there's probably just an issue with that reporting tool. So having some redundancy as well is somewhat important.
All
So
right. So, are you ready to build your 2026 platform?
Cheers, mix, click, and code with Boozy Browsing, sipping and fixing the web one cocktail at a time.
Well,
all right. I will start with mine if I can get it in focus. Let me see the best. I like the logo too. So it's a very local beer, Westfax
oh,
Brewing. It's a Scottish ale. It's like I don't know if you can read I can't read it because it's
tears of
backwards.
the
Yeah, Tears of Our Enemies is backwards when I'm trying to read it that way. It is, yeah, I mean, it's a Scottish ale, a little higher ABV, 7.1, looks like. Says the quote is, "The beer William Wallace would have drank if he didn't drink the tears of his enemies." I like it. We'll see how much I like the taste.
so you're drinking someone's tear.
Yep.
Right. Mine is also local beer. It's a Florida beer from Lakeland, Florida. Yeah, brewed by OBP LLC. It's called Orange Blossom Brewing Company. It's
Hmm.
kind of like festive. It's like a little nice drawings around it. It's a honey beer.
Oh, cool.
So I never
So
had honey beer before. It's
is it a
glaring.
mead? So mead is made from honey, but is it just added? It just had it added it?
It said
Or
honey Pilsner.
okay, so it's probably not a mead then. It just happens to have honey added to it.
Yeah, I had meat before last time. Remember
Yeah,
like the giant bottle?
yeah.
But that was all right, but it was very holiday feeling. But this one's yeah. What's Pilsner?
It'll be I think a lighter beer.
It's 5.5%, so
Yeah, I mean taste wise.
oh
Someone did you run it out from the house so it's all shaken up now?
no, because I forgot to refrigerate it, so I just grabbed it and just ran in.
Exactly.
Ah, I don't have paper towel here. Whatever. I'm just gonna be sticky for the rest of the
Well, cheers to
episode.
you spilling beer all
Cheers.
over your table. I like this one a lot.
Ooh, I can taste honey. It's very honeyish.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
It's a shame this is a 4-pack, but they're pints. So
Ooh,
I would be able to appreciate this all through the holidays if I had more. I might have to go
I
get
think
more.
mine was a 12-pack. No, 8-pack. But
Very
oh, this is
cool.
gonna bug me. It's like I have that
You
weird OCD. Like
you
I
have
want to
anything to
clean
clean it
it.
off with other than just wiping it? Because it will get sticky.
It's all gonna get sticky. It's like whatever.
All right.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do, oh, you know what I'm gonna do this time, Miki? I'm gonna go to the first slide before I start presenting.
There's actually a button start from the beginning on that link.
I don't see it.
When
I,
you try to play it, do you
oh,
not see that option?
I have preview.
Right. So when you click preview, okay. New Year's resolution. Start from the first slide.
That's always next year. That is quite the living room, maybe basement bar area. Just saying.
Yeah. I think initially it just put a weird bar settings around.
Hmm.
I was like, that's not what we want.
So today, not much reviewing of websites. We're going to talk about the year 2026 because we are
How
in
to plan
2026
it.
when we're showing this platform readiness guide.
Yep. So
As some of so as some of people know, we do the 3 framework. That's part of our consulting and how we manage all of our development. So this is a 3 blueprint for resilience, velocity, and growth.
why 2026 requires a new approach? I mean, it's like almost every year you ask this question.
Yeah, I think the thing around that is it's not technically a new approach. It's a new approach than what you were doing like the previous year because no one ever does it perfectly. So
Right.
take this time at the beginning of the year to really think through the things you want to change from what you were doing last year. Maybe you had already planned on doing this and you didn't do it.
Hmm.
But these are definitely ideas of things that you could and should be doing as
Yeah.
it progresses.
Right. Some of the references. So the shift for the 2026 shift can be audience expects speed and reliability, editorial needs velocity, not friction, legacy system create drag, 2025 gap limit revenue, shift reactive to proactive. It's like we talked about this a lot throughout the whole, well,
Yeah.
multiple podcasts or even speaking engagements on we touch based on a lot of these. And it's some of the things that you want to think about all the time, but now it's a new year. You want to plan it out so strategically touch these to improve.
Yeah, I mean those last 2 items, the gaps are limiting your revenue and that going from a reactive approach, meaning fighting fires, into a proactive approach. This is the time. Like, yes, it's not like set aside time now to really reset. You've gone through the holiday sales, gone through like the end of year trying to get enough revenue. You now need to be building up for November, December again, most likely, or summer sales and or whatever types of sales. But take that time now to
Mhm.
address everything and start planning for things so that you can actually get ahead of them and actually do the things that you not only on the list, but the things that will come up.
Yeah. And also, just probably a good time to visit all your backlogs that you put aside
Mhm.
because of all the urgent issues that you want to address so that you'll be prepared for better and more efficient
Right.
processes.
So I hinted at this before, but the 3 framework, I'll go through the top and you can talk to some of the detail, but we have audience experience, creator experience, developer experience. We talk about these things all the time. Sometimes we're talking about one very specifically on Boozy Browsing. Typically audience because it's easier to demo the audience for us rather than looking at backends that we don't have access to,
Mhm.
but we talk through all 3 very, very frequently. I'll go through audience. It's all about speed, clarity, and accessibility. These are how people view your site, how they're interacting with your site, how they're getting the message, and not just your site, but your whole ecosystem of all your messaging across social, across different types of newsletters and things like that.
Creator experience is anything with the editorial workflow, anyone who's creating content for your site's experience. So you want frictionless and workflows and templates to automate and make everything easier for your publishers, your editorial team to push the content to your site easily and frequently and put more creative stuff into what you show on the front end and audience experience.
Yeah, and then the developer experience is, the unsung hero, or whatever the term is, right? That
Mm.
this is what glues everything together or makes or breaks everything. In our opinion, a lot of times, right? If you're not putting things out there reliably, putting things out that are pre-tested, um, doing things quickly, the other 2 fail very quickly. Where your end users are getting a bad experience, the creators are getting a bad experience because the admins that they've deployed, or they're not building systems that integrate multiple admins to all these systems, and then you're having to go all over the place to log in.
Mm.
So this is like what puts everything together sometimes. Sometimes it's also integrating like other partners and things like that too.
Right. And then I always call it the engine room of your site or
Yeah.
platform because it really is the one that controls everything. It's a baseline to be having the strong foundation to it.
Yeah.
And we always describe this as a three-legged tool that all three has to be work individually strongly and also work together cohesively to have a resilient platform.
So what are some priorities for
So
2026?
again, this is some examples. Your priorities might be slightly different depending on if you are stronger on audience experience, but not so much on creator experience, or you're very strong on creator experience, but not so much in developers experience. So it might be a little different based on how your team is and how your, um, yeah, pretty much team is. Teams are actually. But to kind of give some sample things that you want to be on the lookout for is for audience experience. Obviously, performance baseline. It's you want the fast performing websites and platform. Modern search to make sure your customers can find things quickly and easily. Accessibility. We talked about this in multiple accessibility audit or accessibility related items that it's not just about people with disability. It's for everyone. AI readiness content. It's AI is part of everything, especially 2025. It almost blew up, I felt like, more than previous years. So you want to be competitive and you want to use it to your advantage.
Yeah, and then in creator experience, we talk about the frictionless. So frictionless being the ability for them to create faster workflows or have faster workflows for getting that content to the audience faster. Potentially templating systems for not just templating as far as layout, but also templating as far as like how to structure the content that's going up. Smarter governance. This depends on the size of the organization. Sometimes it's like one, and they're the one publishing, but the idea that the fewer gates, the better. In general, obviously, if you have legal things, that's different. And then content reuse. This is more about not necessarily like copy and paste reuse, but making sure that you're constantly on brand. So content reuse across multiple platforms. Let's say if you've got a Shopify site and you have like social channels that you're pumping them out to, you're reusing that content in a smart way so that you're not having to redo it and rethink it every time you're publishing.
And developer experience, modern infrastructure, you want to take advantage of new technology and what's going to make it more efficient. And you might find a lot of tools that will save a lot of time for everyone. DevOps upgrades, if I mean technology, there's a lot of things come out very frequently. And if you're holding on to your DevOps for how many ever years, that's usually in technology world, that's ancient. So you want to take advantage of it so that you'll be efficient. Shared monitoring. Monitoring is always very important that you want to be more um, proactive, not reactive. So that's part of the plan that you want to make to add to so that you are preparing for the potential issues or something that you can improve better by
Right.
monitoring. And reduced maintenance. Well, if you put all these, you'll save time on maintenance. So
Yeah,
that's
well, maintenance and just time of like checking on things. Like I have a
right.
good example of shared monitoring. I got an email literally today
Right.
from one of our clients. They're like, did the site have an outage this weekend? I was like, uh-oh. That's my first reaction, right? Like, did something not tell us that we had an outage?
Right.
So I look at the tools like, all right, well, no, I don't see anything. And then I went to the analytics. I'm like, well, that's not showing me anything. He's like, no, our analytics is showing a dip. I'm like, well, I'm looking at everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the top 2 days in the past like three months
Mm-hmm.
because they had an event. And he's like, "What analytics?" Or I was like, "What analytics are you using?" It's like Hotjar. It's like, okay. It's like, well, I don't have that. I don't have your Hotjar, so I don't see it. It's like, well, maybe there's an issue there. I was like, well, yeah. If everything else, and that's the idea of like having multiple monitoring. Like if everything else is saying it's okay, and one thing is saying something went out, then there's probably just an issue with that reporting tool.
Right.
So having some redundancy as well is somewhat important.
Right. Q1, obviously, you want to build the foundation to whatever you're planning to do. You want to have a good foundation to build upon it. Very logical step. So building your foundation, assess 3 platform and workflows, like so all 3 experiences, you want to start assessing it to see what your gap is so you can think about what to add and how to supplement better. And while you do that, you'll identify bottlenecks. And while you're doing that, you can establish baseline KPIs on what success looks like by planning things ahead. Audit templates and tech depths. I think I mentioned that before. Now is a time to look at all your backlogs and see what you haven't addressed that could benefit you for the remaining of the year. And some of the templates that are built, can they be optimized? Can they be replaced? Are they actually helping you guys? So now is a good time to evaluate and revisit. And align leadership. Most of the times you're working with multiple teams, and you want to make sure that all the leaderships are thinking the same thing. And if not, you want to communicate to figure out what will be the best for the greater goals. So the outcome for this will be gain crystal clear clarity. So just pretty much gain the clarity for your team for the rest of the year.
And now that we're out of Q1, looking at Q2, this is when, so if you put all that in place, hopefully you get into Q2 and you're actually implementing these things. So you're accelerating your team velocity. You're now building, or maybe you already started building these systems that are going to increase that velocity. So at this point, looking ahead, AI is not going away. So modernizing your AI tool set, it's not going away, but it's going to be changing over the next 3 months. I guarantee that. It's continuing to change already. And we're finally utilizing it in more ways that are alongside us, I feel like, more than just click a button and then let it do all of its things. So there's going to be more and more tool sets around aiding and actually kind of being our assistant more than anything and putting out those templates. You got some block libraries. So block libraries would be like different sets of code for a website. Whether you're an e-commerce site or a content site, you're going to have different styles and blocks to implement on the site. The more of those you could have planned for in Q1 and then have ready to launch, so you're now just using them in Q2, automating all these workflows. So you've already put them in place. You've already planned for them. You've worked through them for three months, let's say. You can actually start to automate those and let them go run on their own. So whether it's approval queues or whether it's like, all right, I've created content and now it goes to all these social channels on a scheduled basis because I published today and now I know I want it going out to these places on this date and this date and this date. That's a workflow that can be automated and actually triggered based on publish. On the developer side, strengthening your CI/CD, so making sure that those deployments are always going to happen correctly. And then again, like we said before, improving monitoring, because my first gut reaction of what happened was because things do break on monitoring as well, and did something break or not trigger an alert. So monitoring, almost monitoring your monitoring software, but you don't have to do this as actively, just more about making sure that the tools that are in place have not had any issues, and are there other ones out there that can be doing more for cheaper, better. But there's always always is a way to improve your monitoring. And then, as the tagline or whatever, empowering teams to move faster at this point. Send an espresso machine, like an espresso of like
Boosting
chemicals.
energy, like a Bane juice or something.
This is what AI thinks that we need to have, more chemicals in our life. There you go. Got to have some jokes along
Yeah.
those lines.
No, I think I know why that came in
Yeah.
because I was initially, so the backstory was that there's too much drinking going on in the background. All these images are drinking related.
Mm,
So there's literally every slide has some different drinks and people are drinking. So I was like, wait, let's reduce too much drinking into
that
something more
makes
productive, and they switched to coffee.
that's
So
some
might be a
high
might
octane coffee. It looks like
yeah,
for some
might be
reason.
my miscommunication to the prompt.
I like it.
Well, now we're in Q3. So you want to spend this time to scale with confidence. Now that you have boost up the velocity by adding all those tools and new things, or anything to make it more efficient and make it faster and push out things faster. Now you want to evaluate optimizing and scaling and improve predictability. So launch personalization pilots. It can be on editorial side, audience side, and also even for developer side too. And we did actually mention something about you want to trust too much on it either, but find your right balance to optimize and scale better for your team and for your platform. Proactive governance. Now that you have all the tools to do it, you can be proactive about what can be prevented and what can be optimized and what you can add to make it better and improve everything. Performance budgets.
Yeah, well, I would say again at this point of the year, at this point
Mhm.
of doing all the other things before, you've already putting the monitoring tools in place, and you've seen how the site is running. The idea of performance budgets is that you're putting numbers as far as how fast a page can load and things like that. So putting numbers early on and then just failing all the time is not that helpful.
Mhm.
But if you've been running for a month or two, or 2 quarters in this case, now putting numbers that are going to be at least improvements over what you are, or maybe they're just baseline. So now you know you've been doing this. Well, let's put those numbers in. We can still do the improvements, but making sure we don't get worse than what we
Right.
are today after doing everything for 6 months.
Hmm. Makes sense. Expand automation. So whatever automation you put in also might work well and might not work well. So you adjust it and expand on it. Or if there's any improvements you can make to the automations that you already put in, you
Yeah.
can also add it to make it even better. Optimize mobile UX. That's something you want to do all the time because it's one of this mobile device is something that you always want to make sure your platform is rendering correctly because people use their devices. It's not an option anymore. It's a must these days. So you want to spend time on optimizing mobile experience.
This just came to me. You know how my brain works. So
Hmm.
optimizing mobile X's, right? So mobile came out a while ago. I wonder if the next kind of thing is car, right? So I've got one brand new, very like 2 years old now, but it's got a massive screen.
Hmm.
My wife has a pretty good size screen in hers as well. It's like those are bigger than my phone, obviously, but almost bigger than my laptop. And if the cars I own today don't do this, but cars that are coming out this year are driving themselves.
Yeah.
Like the more likelihood that people are going to be kind of ingesting content is through those devices. Like that's might be the next new wave of the format that we're actually looking at, because it's probably less text at that point and more video, audio, or translated into audio in some way. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was actually recently hearing about this a lot because of all the self-driving or guided driving,
Mhm.
that the next big thing probably will be the market of what you can put on those screens, like the
Yeah.
games or like apps that can do different things, learning or reading or whatever, or movies or whatever you can put in for that app, probably the next market that's kind of grow. I don't know. It might be a little too early to say it's going to explode. It's probably going to be more, it's going to grow slowly and consistently.
Yeah. I mean, the
So,
adoption rate there has like a serious kind of like barrier or whatever, barrier to entry, because people have to buy very expensive cars in order to get in, unless the technology changes and the self-driving becomes almost ubiquitous. Like it's not like when we bought phones. Like that was expensive, but now we're spending $1,000 on a phone anyways, and people don't care about it. But to
Right.
spend 80,000 or $100,000 on an automobile that can then drive you is
Mhm.
a bit different of a lift. So it's going to be slower unless, again, that technology starts to change really quickly, and we have self-driving cars on the $30,000, you know, more reasonable cars.
Mhm. Isn't Tesla was Tesla I don't actually know the pricing point for that, but is Tesla
I
that
saw
expensive?
so I saw a headline. I should have looked this because it's been like a week ago, and this by
Mhm.
the time January comes around, it's like old news. But yeah, they have the latest model is like a $17,000 car,
They
uh,
do self-driving.
which would have it as well and all the other stuff that they add in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cheaper than any economy car at this point. I
Right.
mean, cars are
Yeah.
just ridiculously expensive at this point. But that, yeah, I mean that. So then, when people actually are buying new cars that are actually affordable and they have all that services, that might blow up this market of like you then have to think about that.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, hopefully they're driving well. Because I think the market today is actually just looking on their phone and buying things while they're driving. So it's going to be better than that.
Mhm.
Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
At least the car is trying to pay attention versus the person. That guy
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
looking at.
Some people are really bad drivers, so
Yeah.
can't tell.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you want to achieve measurable growth during this period.
Yeah. Then you get into fourth quarter, which this is the end of the year. So this is when you're going to have, if you're an e-commerce or selling something online, this is your quarter for
Mhm.
making money. So preparing for the peak performance, the 3D blueprint for resilience, velocity, and growth again. Um, this is when you've put all the things in place, and hopefully, yeah, this is more of a review during this time because you now have to be starting to look at 2027. So, yes, if you put all the things in place, you're reviewing, saying, this is perfect. We're just going to keep doing what we did. Most
Mhm.
likely, it's the things that you didn't put in place and why, either why you didn't or um, how quickly you can put them in place now. So, getting the resilience for the spikes, obviously strengthening that, making sure your technical upgrades are in place. Might be the time to evaluate your existing platform, the state of that, and by platform, I mean CMS, the e-commerce platform, the social networks. Maybe you're using a SaaS solution to publish to all your social networks. Um, the devices that you're testing against, and start looking at 2027 of what your audience, what your kind of editorial or creators are doing, how they want to use these tools and evaluating the metrics that we've talked about before. So it's not just the monitoring metrics, it's the metrics for how quick you can publish, how quick you can create from idea to getting to your audience,
Mhm.
um, and also what that audience is. We've talked about they might be absorbing it through other devices, but that might be because something is in the middle and something is absorbing it before it gives it to the people making the decisions, and making sure that your metrics are aligned with that.
All right. So your journey to platform excellence begins now. Actually, beginning of the year is a pretty exciting time to plan out things that you can do and you feel like you're starting a new year, more opportunities come. You have a lot of things that you can explore. You have a lot of things you can execute on. So it's a fun time. So use
Right.
this time to be a happy moment to think about all the good things and plan out accordingly and then plan out so that you can execute it to end your year at the end of 2026. It's actually it and you can go back and be happy about it.
Right.
So
Yeah, like you
executive
said, at the beginning of the year, you should be thinking. Hopefully, you're thinking more positively because nothing as bad as hopefully happened. But weeks into to January that this is coming out, but most likely people are just getting into gear of like resetting things and getting more planning for. Maybe you're in the middle of winter, depending on the area of the country you're in, or you're actually getting ready for spring. Um, I know in Denver we'll be somewhere in between, depending on what cycle of weather's come through us. But we're typically pretty moderate in January and deep into the best ski season of the year. So
Huh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, this is the time to be optimistic and happy about the upcoming year. Executive focused strategy. You can think about that, and you want to have a balanced three framework. Again, three framework: audience, creator, and developer experience framework. You want to have a clear quarterly goals or plan for progression, so you're getting ready for the whole year. Yeah, readiness, we're repeating it because it's one of the big things these days, and you want to take advantage of it. Measurable outcomes, velocity, stability, and growth. You want to start thinking about something you can measure. So towards the end of the year, to evaluate with the numbers and data that you can look through to see how this year went.
yeah, and the reality is, your business or your kind of product better than anyone else, but you may not know all these things that we've been talking about, right? So if you're partnering with an expert in the space, maybe you've brought in a new hire and they are the expert, or you're looking to not do that and looking to external resources. It's a good time to start engaging in those conversations, right? And actually talking to people that say they know what they're talking about and actually trying to see if that's true or not. Um, Hopefully you find us. If you've traveled along on some of these presentations with us, hopefully you understand that we actually know what we're talking about, since we're just kind of chatting away and giving this information and not like trying to pitch anyone in a meeting.
All
So
right. So, are you ready to build your 2026 platform?
yeah, what are we doing for our platform in 2026 differently?
Well,
I'm putting you on the spot, so let's see.
well, for us, we actually tested out a couple new
Hmm.
things, new SaaS tools actually to help
Yeah.
us that we talked about for our workflows. So this month is, well, it's like by the time we're recording this, it's end of month, and we're evaluating whole month to just see how well we can execute it. And by January, we'll have some idea on how to effectively use it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not all that different from anyone else listening, doing whether it's a product or a content site. We do consulting and development, but our business, we still have to deal with tools that are doing marketing and
Hmm.
social media and building out like a podcast like this. And sometimes it's very disconnected because we're trying new tools. Like, don't feel like just because you have disconnected tools that you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're just trying out new tools. But
Hmm.
at some point along this process, you actually have to pull them into a single platform.
Hmm.
That's hopefully. I know we're coming into 2026. I was almost going to say seven because of the slide. In a much better state as a company than we were in 2025, because we've been putting these things into practice and actually building out a platform for our company as well.
Right.
Cheers to January.
Yay. And planning.
Stay tuned for the next episode on Monday afternoon.